Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and I'm bringing back the focus on me. Hello. Today's episode is about Like Mike 2. This is a 2009 film. It's an hour and 35 minutes long, and it is technically a sequel to Like Mike, but it is connected in no way at all except for, well, the entire plot. And well, I mean, there's differences, and there's also some magic sneakers that have MJ written in them. Apparently, Michael Jordan, nobody says Michael Jordan in this. Nope, they're just Mike. They mention, well, actually, no, they just do discuss his career a little bit, but I don't know if they actually say his name, because they talk about him with the Bulls, and they mention Pippen, and then they talk about his time with the Wizards, and so it's clearly Michael Jordan. It's not like it was ever a question, but whether they can use him or not, they he doesn't make an appearance in this one either. And oh, by the way, you don't have the same cast. Lil Bow Wow is not the main character. We have Joshua Washington playing Jerome, Triple J, in this. He's the main character, who just happens to play basketball during a thunderstorm that's approaching. He's not raining yet, but before he does, he finds sneakers hanging from a telephone pole. Always a good sign. In my neighborhood, if there's sneakers hanging from a telephone pole line, well, that means this is a place to buy drugs. Yeah. I think that's the universal code, I think. At least it used to be. I don't know. This case, they made it sure that it wasn't hanging from a line. It was just hanging from a pole, 20 feet up, and the kid climbs it as the storm approaches, takes him inside, plays some video games. By the way, there's a lot of product placement in this, from Cheetos to EA, like the basketball NBA game. And at some point, of course, Nike, at some point, the lightning does strike, and it comes through the power cables, through the video game, through the TV, which the sneakers, as you store sneakers you've just found on a telephone pole, you store them on top of a television where you're playing video games, possibly for the PlayStation. Yeah, and then they electrify, and then immediately afterwards you put them on, because you can see the electricity rippling through them. You touch them, and then you put them on, but that makes a lot of sense. Because, you're 12? He's 12, maybe? I don't know. Kids don't make a lot of good choices all the time. But, and this is all about that. This is all about making the right choices, this film. What a great segue that was. Jerome is living with his mom, who is, I believe, divorced from his dad, who's never around. He's always busy with work. He comes over long enough to say, I can't come over and hang out today. Not even enough to shoot some baskets out back. No, not even enough to do that. I just spent time coming across town to stop in for literally 30 seconds to say, I can't be here. Yeah, but it's our introduction to the character. And of course, then we have the layabout in the house. His name's Ray, and you might recognize him. He's played by Kel Mitchell from Kenan and Kel and Good Burger and everything else. It took me a minute to realize that he wasn't just like channeling Chris Tucker-ish. He's Kel. So yeah, I didn't watch a whole lot of Good Burger growing up, because it was after my time of watching kids programming, without a show like this. So yeah, I'm not really super familiar with him, but I've seen him, and he's energetic. He has this chatterbox kind of, always talking, always moving, always scheming, wheeling and dealing. In this case, though, Ray is kind of a jerk. He's a big jerk. He plays basketball, street ball, by the way, and that's what the subtitle of this film is, even though it doesn't show that here. It would normally say street ball right about there. If you bought the DVD, it would say street ball. I don't know why it doesn't. And by the way, you can't watch Like Mike on Disney Plus anymore, just the original, for whatever reason. Not sure why. This is a 20th Century Fox thing that was brought over. Anyway, I'm all over the place right now, but Ray is kind of one of the standout characters in this, only because if you know him and you love him, you're going to hate him in this one because he's an absolute jerk. He tries to take advantage of Jerome from the first chance he gets. When Jerome starts performing really well, of course, when he puts on the sneakers and tries to play ball amongst, or even just watch. He's just standing there watching other people play ball, and when somehow the ball comes to him and he's asked to throw it, he hits, he just swishes it. Easy, no problem. Well more than a three-pointer. So the angry guy on the team that is trying to call him out asks him to do it again, and he does it again. And then, of course, he gets to join a traveling team called Game On, part of a street ball league that has a certain level of fame. I figured street ball is just street ball. It doesn't have like a whole league involved with it. But apparently they travel around and play other teams around the country. And there's groupies, and there's all sorts of other crazy stuff. Speaking of groupies, there is one unsettling scene. He's supposed to be 12, 13 at best, I think, because he's talking about going into junior high at the end of the film with his friends. And there's a point where he gets so famous with his buddies on the team, but he's the most popular team member because he's got the magic shoes, he's doing flips, he's doing all sorts of crazy shots beyond Michael Jordan's abilities. I mean, yeah, Michael Jordan could shoot, but seriously, this kid he's flying around. Everybody just goes like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We're a little stunned, but okay, if you say so. He weighs 38 pounds, but okay. We're going to make this kid, a superstar. And of course, people are always courting him and, trying to get him to be part of, sponsor him. There's a sneaker company that Ray tries to, as his manager, with permission from Mom, grudgingly, from permission from Mom, Ray becomes the tag-along manager for Jerome. And I'm telling you the entire story because none of this should be a surprise to you from the very first moment you meet each one of these characters. And you should probably know their entire story arc from the moment you start watching this film. You know how it's going to end. For the most part, you pretty much know how it's going to end. Anyway, Ray is, of course, trying to wheel and deal with the sneaker company, and that's going to, just like didn't this happen in the last one? They're like trying to force him to wear the company's sneakers, not the Magic sneakers. And then he's failing and nobody likes him anymore. By the way, his whole team just sort of leaves him behind at one point because he failed in one game. Like all the guys were like buddies with him. They're just like gone, except for one guy who he helped get some action. Basically, he looks like a 35-year-old cowboy, white cowboy, who is afraid of girls, and he sits down with this 12-year-old for a few minutes, and the kid tries to help him hook up with the reporter that's following them around. She's very pretty, and she has a crush on the cowboy, and he manipulates something so that he accidentally goes to her room with signed basketballs for charity. I don't know. And they end up, falling in love. You know all this is coming. There's somebody who likes somebody. They're going to get together. That Jerome's going to be a total jerk and start living the high life he's outplaying even his own team, not letting anybody else have the ball. He's ball hogging. And yes, of course, eventually he learns a lesson about teamwork and not just making it about winning. It should be fun. But going back to the thing where he gets so much fame, he gets asked to be part of a music video for some artist that I don't think we ever see. When we see him, Ray hooks us up and gets him to be in this music video. When we see him on the set in the music video, he's apparently in a hot tub, shirtless, with two women rubbing soap bubbles all over his chest. And I'm just like, who do they hire? Who thought this was a good idea? Who do they hire? Like, yes, that 12-year-old is probably really into this. Not a problem. But that is a little strange. Let's just say it's a little icky. those poor women who are just like, okay, your role is now to rub soap bubbles all over this 12-year-old while you're in swimsuits in a hot tub with him. Thankfully, his dad shows up. One time, his dad he doesn't want his dad around is when dad pulls him out of the hot tub. So yeah, that makes sense. His dad is played by Michael Beach. He seems so familiar. I think I've seen him in a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, it's an okay cast. It's not a great story. It's not well acted. Everybody is pretty stiff. Sure, Kel is just overacting just to be this big, talkative, motor mouth kind of character. And yeah, he becomes really reprehensible when he takes the mask off, in a sense, and realizes that he can no longer profit from Jerome. You see him as pretty slimy. But then, of course, he has to get his comeuppance in the end. I'm not going to spoil that part, but yeah, he gets a couple of levels of comeuppance. But then also, after the credits, he has an after-credits sequence. Yeah, he has an after-credits sequence where he just slides in the frame and starts bouncing a basketball really erratically and poorly, and then just slithers away, into the darkness. I don't know. They're just like, we have footage of Kel doing this. Let's use it. So it's meant to be funny. So yeah, this is not a movie I recommend. If you really like the first one, Lil Bow Wow and everybody else, and Brenda Song and all those others, yeah, I can see the appeal in that one. This one just recycles the formula with some minor changes about, again, it's about not letting fame go to your head, and not being selfish, and having fun with the sport, and family, and dad learns a lesson about being there for his kid, and it's all the standard stuff. There's nothing wrong with it. And if you love basketball and you kids want to watch this, it's fairly harmless. Yeah. If you want to see it, no, I'm not gonna say it. Just say it. You can avoid this one. You might want to take this off of Disney Plus as well. No offense to the cast here. Way to go, kid. But yeah, this isn't a great movie. I've done this twice in 1 week, I think, where I've had very little good to say about a film. The last one was like Liz and Dick. Anyway, this was from 2009, even though it shows that they won the championship in 2005. So maybe this was sitting on a shelf forever. I think this is a direct-to-video release, is the only thing I can think of. I don't know. Anyway, let's pick Tomorrow.
192.
192, man. I don't have to scroll very far, which is nice, but still. 192... Okay. It's well, I can't say it's a documentary necessarily. It might be a documentary, but it's or reality or whatever. It's music. And once I say the name, some of you might recognize this. I think I recognize this, what this is. This is J-Hope in the Box. Yeah, I think it's BTS. One of the guys from BTS, maybe? I saw that documentary just following them around Korea one time a couple months ago. Yeah, but the concert's great. I saw the concert video. If the J-Hope is who I think it is, then it's a BTS related thing. Maybe it's a solo thing. I don't know. But it's J-Hope in the Box. So hopefully I'm right. If not, well, we'll see. J-Hope in the Box in the next Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.